Hi everyone, Stephen Lee here. Great news. One of my clients just received an email invitation from the SBA to apply for the Targeted EIDL Advance program, worth up to $10,000. In this video, I'm going to be covering the following. Number one is the details of the email invitation, what it looks like and what you can find in that email. Number two is the actual application process and what you need to complete the application. I'm going to go in detail, not only what the application pages are going to look like, but as well as what do you need to correctly apply and complete those pages. Number three is tips to improve your chances for approval. I'm going to go over some explicit tips here in regards to how to improve your chances of approval. And number four is the timing of the EIDL application once it's been submitted. So let's get right into it. Let's discuss first the email invitation. Once again, remember, the SBA is only going to contact you to apply by an email invitation. The email came from the email address targetedadvance@sba.gov. That's where it came from. That's who the sender was. Targetedadvance@sba.gov. Remember, if you've been following my previous videos, I've been telling you that you need to make sure that if you do receive any emails from the SBA in regards to the Targeted Advance or the EIDL loan in general, make sure it comes from the @sba.gov. Okay, so if you're corresponding or receiving any emails, if it's not from the @sba.gov, then I would just ignore it and do not respond to it. The email has an associated application number that's 10 digits long. So they're going to track that, right? It might be that 10-digit number is going to be something that's going to be associated with this next round, EIDL Advance. Okay. The email details the potential EIDL advance you can receive. Remember, it will be the difference of $10,000, that's the max, minus any advance you've already received. Okay, so the max you can cumulatively receive from the EIDL advance is $10,000. So let's say, for example, in round number one, you received an advance worth up to $4,000, right? Because back then, let's say you noted that you have 4 employees, they gave you $1,000 per employee. So let's say you receive $4,000. Then in this round, if you qualify here, then the most you can receive is $6,000, right? So it's 10,000 minus the 4,000 already received equals the max amount you could potentially receive during this targeted EIDL advance round. The email also goes over the eligibility of the targeted EIDL advance, and you must meet all three of these qualifications, not just one or the other. It has to meet all three. The first one is, once again, you have to be located in a low-income community, as defined in Section 45E of the IRC, or Internal Revenue Code. What we're learning here is they say that the SBA will map your business property address to determine if you are in a low-income community once you've submitted your targeted EIDL advance application. So just because you receive an email does not mean you qualify. Okay, so they're going to ask you to submit an application, and once you've submitted the application with all the necessary information, they're going to actually do the analysis to see if you are located in a low-income community. So once again, even if you receive this invitation, it does not mean you qualify just yet. The second qualifier, as we know, is you need to suffer an economic loss greater than 30%, demonstrated by an 8-week period beginning on March 2nd, 2020, or later. Compared to the previous year, you'll be required to prove the total amount of monthly gross receipts from January 2019 to the current month to date. And I'm going to go over the actual details of the application in the next part. So once again, you need to have suffered a drop in gross receipts over an 8-week period, starting from March 2nd, 2020, okay? So that's the starting period for the 2020 year, okay? So you can't use January or February as your 8-week period. You have to start from March 2nd, 2020, when the pandemic actually hit, okay? So you're gonna compare that to 2019 and show a greater than 30% drop over that 8-week period in gross receipts of 30%. Okay, the last criteria is you must have 300 or fewer employees, okay? Once again, you must have 300 or fewer employees. And the eligible entities, once again, is sole proprietors, independent contractors, private non-for-profit organizations. You know, farmers and ranchers, unfortunately, do not qualify for this round of targeted EIDL advance. So let's go right into the actual application process and what you need to complete the application, okay? So what you need to complete the application, first off, you're going to need your 2019 business tax return. Okay, for you sole proprietors and Schedule C filers, you're going to obviously need your 2019 personal income tax return. But all of you businesses that file as an S Corp or C Corp or a partnership, whatever it may be, you need that 2019 business tax return. You're also going to need the gross receipts for every month. Okay, because in the application, and I'll tell you in just a little bit, there's going to be a screen by screen, month by month, where you're going to have to actually input the monthly receipts line by line for every month starting from 2019, 20, and the most recent month, which is going to be January 2021. Okay, so have that ready. Remember, gross receipts is defined as all revenue in whatever form received or accrued from whatever source. Okay, and if there was a period that there were no sales, you just put 0 in that line. Okay. And then you want to have your updated business information, location, phone number, and number of employees. All right, so let's go back in that email application or in the email invitation. At the very bottom of that email, there's going to be a green button, okay? And that green button is labeled as Targeted Advance Application. Okay, that green button, that's what you're going to press to go into the application. Okay, so you're going to have to press that green button to actually access the application for this Targeted EIDL Advance. So let me talk you through the 4-page application here. It's going to be 4 pages. Okay. The first page, once you press that green button, it's going to ask you to verify your EIN or your social security number, right? So for sole proprietors, independent contractors, it's going to ask you for a social security number. But for most business owners, you're going to have your tax ID number, your EIN. So you're going to input that to get to the next screen. On the second page, it's going to ask you, there's going to be a list of 20-something validation questions, okay? Long list of validation questions, very similar to PPP, EIDL Round 1, different, SBA loan programs that you've just applied for. Very similar. A lot of those questions include things like, what is the citizenship status of the owner that's applying? Do you have any possible pending litigation or convictions on file? They're going to ask you very similar questions, so go ahead and answer those line by line truthfully, okay? Once you do that and you go to the next page, the third page, it's going to ask you to confirm the information provided in your original EIDL application. Okay, so remember, the SBA has that information because the only reason they're contacting you now is because you've already submitted an EIDL application in the past. This third page is going to show the contact information, the business information that you included in your original EIDL application. You're going to have to go through and confirm if that information is still accurate, and you can make any changes to it. There's going to be a little edit button per line to see if let's say your business actually moved locations or there was a change in terms of the ownership. You can change it on this third page, this third screen. So go ahead and edit that and update it with the most current information. Okay, and then the fourth page, okay, once you confirmed or updated your business information, the fourth page is where you're going to be requested to input the gross receipts per month from January 2019, 2020, and the most recent month that just passed. So it's going to be basically a box, okay? You're going to see a box there. There's going to be a 2019 column, a 2020 column, and a box for just the month of January for 2021, okay? So you can basically have to fill in 25 months worth of gross receipts, okay? They're going to ask you for that. And like I said, if there's a month where you had 0 gross receipts, you just put the number 0 in there. You don't leave it blank, you put the number 0 in there, okay? So make sure to have that ready. You need the gross receipts for 25 months, maybe 26 months, depending on when you're watching this video, to show and prove that gross receipts test on that last page. And once you do that, you click on another certification and then you hit submit, okay, at that point. And then that's the application, right? So basically, once again, even if you get an email from the SBA, it doesn't mean you qualify. You still have to file the application, include your business address, validate your business information, and then also input your gross receipts so that the SBA can run the test to see if you qualify for those 3 things, right? Number of employees, low income, as well as a drop or an economic loss greater than 30%. So you have to still file that application. Doesn't mean that you qualify, you still have to file it. Tips, number 3 is tips to improve your chances for approval, okay? These are tips straight from the SBA, straight from the application, straight from that email. I'm gonna go over these tips. The number one tip here that they're saying is double check the bank account information on your application. Once again, you have to double check the bank account information that you're going to have the funds, if you qualify, they're going to be deposited to. They want you to validate this and verify this. The routing number, account number, as well as there's some tips here. Eligible bank account information. Account is opened using your business legal name. Okay, this is very important. Sometimes the business's bank account does not, the name of that bank account does not match the actual business name. So make sure it matches. The business legal name matches the values entered in the business information section of your application. Okay, and if you do not have a business legal name, the name on the account must match the business owner's name. Okay, so for those of you who are sole proprietors or Schedule C, the business bank account which you want these funds to be deposited, the name has to match the business name or the owner's name. Make sure. The account, once again, has your business address and phone number, matching the values entered in the business information section of your application. Remember, this business information section of the application is page 3. We just went over that, right? Where you validate or you update your business information. Make sure your business bank account also has that same address and information and phone number. Also, the account is opened using the business tax ID. Okay, so that's your EIN or your social security number. Make sure that business account has either of those two, okay, that matches the business ID. Okay, they're gonna actually do this check. They explicitly on this application and in this email say that if you do not have a bank account that satisfies these criteria, right, the informational side, there is a greater chance that the SBA will not be able to approve your targeted EIDL advance. Once again, this bank account information is vital, okay? They are telling you explicitly here, if that information does not match up with what the bank has on record versus what you're putting into this application, there's a greater chance it won't be approved, even if you meet all those 3 qualifiers. So make sure that when you complete this application that you have the most up-to-date information. You check with your banker, call them up, ask them, make sure that the name, address, phone number, all of that stuff matches up to what you're putting into this EIDL application. It is essential because they've actually explicitly broken this out. They also said common issues to watch out for. This goes hand in hand with this. They're saying common reasons why the account validation might fail would be the account holder name does not match the business name on the application. The business name changed since opening the account, or you're using a personal account for business, or account being is someone else's name such as a spouse or a friend, or reusing a bank account for multiple businesses that do not match the business name on the application. So once again, in order to avoid any type of issues here getting your application rejected, make sure your business bank account that you're designated for any qualified funds to be deposited matches the business information that you are applying or putting on your EIDL application here. Okay, so that is the most vital tip that you can take away from this video, is make sure your business bank account is matching what you're putting on this application here. Lastly, timing, okay? So once you've submitted this Targeted EIDL application, what's the timing here, right? Like how fast are they going to approve the application and how fast can you see the funds? So what they're telling us here is that applicants that pass this initial eligibility requirement may also be required to sign an IRS Form 4506T. It's a transcript, a tax transcript that basically the IRS is you're allowing the IRS to give or release to the SBA your previous tax history, okay, for your business. You might be asked to do that. And then they also write here, once again, the SBA's goal is to process all requests within 21 days of receiving a completed application. So within 3 weeks. Okay, so that's the SBA's goal. It's not a guarantee, but that's what they're trying to do. So once you've uploaded everything, once you've entered in, all 4 of those pages, all the information, their goal is to get back to you within 21 days, which is great. I think 3 weeks is a reasonable amount of time. Hopefully they can match that goal. And then all application decisions will be communicated by email. Okay, once again, by email. Make sure any emails you're getting or you're corresponding to is from the @sba.gov website, right, or that email address. So once again, wait for the application results by email. And they're also saying, due to the limited number of available funds for this Targeted EIDL Advance program, the SBA will not be able to reconsider applications through an appeal process. So there's no appeal process in this round. So make sure that your information is correct when you submit your application. So you definitely want to make sure that once you hit that submit button, everything that you've previously inputted is correct and up to date. Okay. And then so what happens if you're approved? Once again, you're going to receive an email notification, and you should receive a direct deposit, an ACH deposit, to the bank account you provided in the application. The SBA also left an email address as well as a phone number. I'll leave it in the contact information in the bottom of this video if you have any further questions about not only your application, but this application and the process itself. So once again, the takeaway here is make sure your bank account information is up to date. Okay, not only account, routing, address, phone number, business name, all those things, your business bank account has to match the application business information that you're putting in there on that page 3. Okay, also make sure to have all your gross receipts in order to make sure you can fill out this application as well. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you. Remember to hit that like button if it was, and make sure to continue to subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to continue to update you as long as I find any more updates, whether from my own clients, my own firm, or as well as anything that I see on the SBA website or any kind of guidance or communication that they might provide. So till next time, I wish everyone a safe and wonderful day. Bye.